This is News 6 Tonight.
Hey, welcome to News 6 Tonight, everyone. On a Wednesday, hump day. I can't believe we're halfway through the week already. Time is just flying by. Let's just celebrate the new year now, because it's over.
No, I don't want to. I want to enjoy a little Christmas.
I know, but
a little time off coming.
I know, yeah, it's his Friday. It's my Wednesday, so we're going to have some folks filling in for you while you're gone the next few days or so. So enjoy your time off. I'll enjoy my time away from you. And But thank you for joining us and making some time for us to catch up on the day's headlines. And we got a lot of stories that really will impact you, and especially our first one. We're talking about the budget.
Yeah, it's a big one. So the governor was in town. He actually came to Orlando and chose Orlando to discuss his $117 billion budget. Now, the main thing when it comes to state budgets, always, there's a lot in there, but $30 billion of it is K through 12 spending.
That's a lot of money.
So they did decide they're going to fully fund the Bright Future Scholarship.
Yep.
Very important for parents like me trying to get these college kids paid for. They also set aside $1.5 billion for teacher raises.
That's
which
important
is a huge
too.
deal for a lot of people who are trying to make money. Still not where they should be.
No, but it's going in the right direction.
You can only move so much per year. So our community correspondent, Mike Valenti, he was at that press conference asking some questions. Let's hear from him.
I'm News 6's Mike Valenti, your Orlando community correspondent. And on Wednesday, Governor Ron DeSantis was in Orlando to roll out his budget proposal for the next fiscal year. The top line number, $117.36 billion. And within that proposal, he's suggesting a record $30 billion for funding for the K-12 public school system, a system that some warn is being pushed to the edge. Governor Ron DeSantis Wednesday characterizing his budget proposal in dollars for Schools of Hope, a program allowing charter schools to move into public schools rent-free, a $14 million increase from last year.
So Schools of Hope, this is not we're going to go into Windermere and do a school, or we're going to go into Palm Beach and do a school. They are going to the toughest areas that we have, where a lot of people have given up on some of these students.
So that's an interesting point that he makes there when he talks about these schools that they're going to try to go in, and basically schools that in some cases people want to get rid of these schools. They're schools that have been poorly rated for decades. So his administration's idea is we're going to come in, bring some fresh life in there, maybe some fresh money, and possibly make the situation better. Of course, there's always the worry that the situation could be made worse. Now, according to the Florida Education Association, Florida ranks 45th in the nation for per student funding and 50th in the nation in teacher pay. Absolute dead last.
To hear that, you know, but that's we have to move the needle. The needle's moving, and you can't move it all at once. It's moving up tick by tick, but boy, it's not going fast enough.
A lot of
But
people are
at least
wondering
it's
too, how are these teachers going to get paid? How's everything going to get paid for
Yeah.
if we lose property taxes as well as a
Oh,
vehicle?
and here in Central Florida, there's a big, concern about the budget too, because they're already talking about closing some of the underperforming schools here, and there's 7 of them that we talked about earlier today through some reporting that that Orange County Public Schools, they're considering closing. So a lot of people concerned about what the budget holds and what's in store, especially when it comes to public schools. But $30 billion, that's a good chunk of change.
Good chunk of change
Yeah.
for sure.
All right. Here's a crazy story we talked about earlier this week because it happened Monday. Monday, we had some crazy stories because we had 2 planes crash land on roads in Central Florida. One, it happened in Cocoa in Brevard County, and we just got dash cam video of what happened. And when you see what happened, it was a small fixed wing plane. It lost engine power, obviously. It clipped the back of this Toyota Camry that was on I-9. You're on the interstate. It clips the back of this woman's car.
I wouldn't say clipped it.
I mean,
I would say
crashed into it.
destroyed
Well,
the back of this woman's car.
But I mean, it didn't flip over or anything. And she's fine. The pilots who were in the two people who were in the plane are fine. But when you see this video, you're like, how did everyone make it out okay? Because we had a huge backup when it happened, and we were trying to figure out exactly what it was. Well, we also got to talk to 2 Good Samaritans who saw it happen, and they rushed in to help. God bless these people. Our community correspondent, Jana Manahalal, has more on that.
Yeah, that crash happening just on the I-95, but the witnesses tell me they can only use one word to describe this, and it's a miracle. This is the moment a twin-engine plane, losing power over Brevard County, slams into a Toyota Camry during Monday's evening rush hour on I-95.
A plane just crashed onto a highway. On a highway.
Driving the opposite direction with their daughter, Bernard and Annie Wigley saw it all unfold.
It was just beginning to get dark, so the lights were obvious, but I saw the lights coming from the east.
So I knew, because of how low, no one would fly a plane over an interstate that low.
Their daughter eventually managed to pull over, stopping directly across from the wreckage.
We immediately jumped out and ran over to see who needed help.
You can see Annie, who was a nurse, climbing across I-95 to help.
I was just thinking, my mind was going so fast, but I knew I had to get there. Every minute counts when people are injured.
The 57-year-old woman inside the car was dazed.
Just know God is good, okay?
You okay?
She was definitely a little dazed because even though the plane was right in front of her, she never knew that plane was what hit her.
Despite the impact of the crash, the driver and both pilots escaped with only minor injuries.
It seemed almost like a movie when you see a tragedy on the highways and interstate.
Look at that car.
I just want to say thank you to Bernard and Annie for, I know they were in the right place at the right time, going in the opposite direction. So it took some effort for them to stop what they were doing and then help. And
then to run across.
And it's dangerous to
95,
do that, but she's a nurse. Thank goodness. And when that guy, when they pulled up and they said, God, just know that God is good.
Yeah.
He put Annie right there.
That poor woman,
right
she got out of that car like, what?
She was
did
dazed
a
and
plane
confused.
just land on my car?
Who would ever expect that that's what slammed into the back of you? A texting driver, sure. A plane that falls from the sky? No way. What are the odds of that?
The crazy thing is, you can tell everybody behind her as they were rolling video, they saw it all.
Crazy video, and I'm just thankful that everybody's going to be okay. The Good Samaritans jumped the wall and put themselves in harm's way to make sure that that 57-year-old driver was safe.
Right, one of 2 planes to land on roads
That day, yes. Oh my gosh,
What a
so
wild
crazy.
day in Central Florida. We have a fascinating new bill being put forth. Do you like your HOA? Do you have an HOA?
I do not. I intentionally look for neighborhoods that do. I've lived in one before, and I don't want to do it
Did you
ever
have
again.
fisticuffs with the HOA president?
No, not at all. Not at all.
She didn't
they
like
just
him.
did some things. I don't know who it was. I don't remember, but they did some things. I
Look at
didn't
her.
agree.
Look at her. I don't know. She's doing her politician. I don't remember.
They did some things. I didn't like it, and
Yeah.
we all make choices. This is a free country.
This is true.
I chose to move.
You did. I have a very rigid HOA at my neighborhood.
Do you like yours?
Which I like usually. Sometimes they can be a little.
What about that
ridiculous.
driveway situation? you
Don't
had?
talk about my driveway. The driveway situation's going to get cleared up, or I am going to hate my HOA. You know too much about my life. Anyway, so the same lawmaker who called HOAs a failed experiment has now put forth legislation to give homeowners an out. So he basically has filed a bill, and he wants to make it so neighbors who are tired of their HOA can band together.
Get out.
Get on out of there. Now, this is just a bill. It hasn't been voted on, hasn't been signed by the governor. But here is the idea. Let's take a look at some of here. So under the bill, a homeowner who wants to terminate his or her HOA has to provide the board a petition. It has to have signatures from at least 20% of the HOA voting members. The board then has to hold a meeting within 60 days.
Oh God, so long.
And then I know, you got to wait 60 days to get rid of this albatross. Then, with 2/3 of the total voting interests being required, that is how you can approve to terminate the whole plan. So get rid of your HOA, even though it was agreed to when.
Yeah, but
this
if it
place was built.
fails, you can do it again, right?
Yeah, if the plan fails to get enough support, then residents will have to wait 18 months to try again. So you can't just keep doing this every week and make it into a big drama fest. But what do you think about this? I think it's
feel
interesting.
like it can happen more often, because if you're the person who's filing it and you get signatures, and if yours fails, then maybe maybe now somebody else leads the charge.
I think the whole neighborhood gets a chance every 18 months.
I know. I was just trying to.
But why shouldn't you have? If everybody agrees, it's your place, it's your property, get rid of them.
But they're saying you moved in here and you knew what this was. You know, when you're dating a bad guy and you know it's a bad guy.
Right, that's what he says. You knew what I was when you started dating me. But people and organizations change.
Yeah.
They adopt new
Leadership,
rules.
yeah, leadership
Maybe the
changes.
way it was when you came in is
It's
different
different.
20 years later.
And
you
not so
wanna
good.
Get them out of there.
Yeah, it's
So,
it is
I don't
one
know.
of those things.
It's an interesting plan. Why not give people more
HOAs
rights?
can be very special entities sometimes. That's all I'm going to say. We got a lot more coming up, don't we?
They can be filled with power-hungry people.
Yeah, stay with us. We have a lot more coming up, including, we have the world's busiest cruise port at Port Canaveral now. They are talking about building a gas plant, because you got to fuel those ships and
Those
things.
monsters,
Somehow. But they don't want to build it actually at the port, and we'll tell you why neighbors are upset about that.
If I were a male, put your butt here.
Yeah, and you got the links from the show, just on the line ago, I think. So we'll make sure we have that for News 6 tonight. Hey, thanks for stopping by. We know you're busy, but news doesn't stop, and neither do we.
That's right. And this is News 6 Tonight, where we leverage this entire busy newsroom with our community correspondents, our producers, our content desk, and then we filter through that. We have a casual conversation about the news that impacts Central Florida.
Yeah, we live here in the community, and we rely on you for our neighborhood network, because you're our eyes and ears as well, and we can't do it without you.
So you can watch us all over the place, YouTube, News 6 Plus app, and clickorlando.com. While you're here, feel free to engage. Let us know who you are and where you're from.
Welcome back to News 6 Tonight on a Wednesday night.
About their plan to build a liquefied natural gas plant near a couple hundred homes. About their plan to build a liquefied natural gas plant near a couple hundred homes. I just had a couple questions about the presentations to address more of the community's concerns. But they weren't interested in being interviewed. I'm your Merritt Island community correspondent, James Sparvero. The port owns the land here on the barge canal, so the companies would have to buy it if the port's willing to sell.
We're here today to discuss a very transformative opportunity for the Cape Canaveral region.
Representatives told commissioners they want to open the LNG plant for space and cruise customers by 2029. Vince Cipineri would live less than a mile away.
If it blows up, I have no idea what's going to happen to us.
They say their plant will be safe.
LNG fundamentally is a much safer and cleaner fuel than any of the traditional fuels that people may be thinking of. It'll be a net benefit for the community.
After the meeting, Port Canaveral CEO Captain John Murray told me neighbors aren't the only ones concerned about safety. Do you share some of the same concerns that the community has? Neighbors I've spoken to, one of which came here today and talked.
I'm in the blast zone. We wouldn't even get out.
Absolutely. I just spent some time with the neighbors, and any type of a project like this has a huge impact on people in our community, and it's important that everybody have their say.
Yeah, and there's an important vote coming in January which could decide the future on that LNG plant. So people are saying, as that gentleman said, I'm in the blast zone if you build this thing near my home, and I have no idea what that would look like if something happens. And you pray that nothing ever does happen, but you can't. That's not a prayer. Is not a plan, right?
Yeah,
so,
you can understand their concerns. I think
course.
It'd be smart if these natural gas businesses come in and talk to these people about how, because you really don't hear about natural gas explosions a lot in the news, and we cover them. We had the Blue Rhino explosion. I think that was propane. You remember that? That was more than a decade ago. That was
it's a long time ago.
People see those
but still,
once, and they don't.
I was just going to say, all it takes is one time.
I will say, so the reason cruises have switched to these LNG, it is a cleaner burning fossil fuel. It helps meet the really strict emission standards, and everything's sort of moving in that direction. So for the port to be viable, they're going to need a place to store all of that.
Of course.
Obviously, nobody really wants it near them.
No, but people are also, they're talking about the environment, so this is something they could use in their favor, saying, look, it's clean energy.
Yeah,
or cleaner
exactly.
energy.
So, you're going to have to give and take, I suppose. We'll see what happens with that. All right, let's talk about a very weird ad that you've been seeing on local news stations.
Is it weird? It's just an ad.
So let's talk about this. Strange ad. I was walking by the TV the other day here at the station.
Is
and
that
I'm
how
like,
you walk by TVs?
What is that? I walk with a lot of swagger, Ginger. You have to understand this about me.
Wow.
So I was walking by the TV, and I look on, and I see this ad that's basically telling me that I should be saying thank you to this politician. That's kind of, that's the gist of it. And I thought to myself, what the hell am I looking at here? It's not a campaign ad. Now, it seems like a campaign ad when you're watching
100%.
But this guy is not running for anything yet. Clearly, he's thinking about it. So I'm talking about the lieutenant governor. We're talking about Mr. Jay Collins. And so we wanted to know, who's paying for this ad? Is he paying for this? It turns out there's somebody else who's paying for this ad, and they must be interested in getting Mr. Collins, your lieutenant governor, in front of
next spot
and getting you to think, I like this guy. So we had our community correspondent and morning anchor Justin Warmoth digging into who is funding this, and let's see if we can figure out why. Here it is.
I learned the ads aren't even from Collins, so I went to find out who is putting up the cash for these commercials.
Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins is standing with Governor DeSantis.
The 30-second ads have been everywhere, touting the accomplishments of Florida's newly appointed lieutenant governor.
Jay Collins stands strong for conservative values.
But Collins, who hasn't announced if he'll run for governor, isn't paying for the ads. Neither is any political group associated with him. Instead, Florida Fighters has paid more than $2.25 million to run the ads in Orlando, Tampa, and Palm Beach. So who is Florida Fighters? Well, for that answer, you need to leave the Sunshine State for the first state, Delaware. Turns out Florida Fighters is a 501c4 registered in early November in Delaware. 501c4s are considered social welfare organizations.
This is essentially a shell corporation that is putting this message out there.
As UCF political science professor John Hanley notes, 501c4s are not required to publicly disclose the names or addresses of their donors, meaning we may never know who paid for these ads.
Florida Fighters is an anonymous tagline that that provides the smallest amount of information about who this group is.
The Delaware LLC doesn't provide an address, but there is a phone number on the ad. The number leads to a voicemail for the office of the Lieutenant Governor.
So, very interesting. $2 million is not chump change. That is a lot of money to be sending out feelers to just try to, I guess, test the market.
Maybe you might like him. $2 million is a lot of money for anything to test out. And who knows what will happen next? Because he could technically say, I don't want to run for. I mean, it doesn't look like that's what he's going to say. We don't know, but I don't know.
I remember a few cycles ago, Richard Corcoran, who was the House Speaker, was interested in running for governor, but he hadn't said he was going to run, and he started putting these ads out, kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
Look at all the things Richard Corcoran has done.
Yeah, see what happens.
And then he ended up not doing it because I'm not sure how the research went. I think they send out the ads and then they check the research and they see how it's going.
You got to spend some money to figure out if you need to spend even more money because campaigns are not cheap. And I guess in the grand scheme of things, $2 million is kind of a drop in the bucket. But it's a big drop, yeah. But when you're talking about political ads, they spend a lot, which we in the business love political season.
It is
because
good.
of the ads,
it is good for the business.
Exactly.
That's for sure. And you have seen those on our air as well.
And you will.
Yes. All right. Let's get you over to our meteorologist, Jonathan Kagis. It was a much cooler day. I got to enjoy pickleball outside.
Still
Things were good.
Very nice.
And the week ahead, my friend.
Oh, bring
is
it.
Really looking wintry.
It is. I think this is the best looking 7-day forecast, though. Once we're gonna get because it's great in the sun if it's a little too cool for you, and then we're gonna get rid of some of the dampness as well. It's been kind of that damp cold. I think that's.
Yeah.
You're wearing your fleece inside tonight. You normally don't do that.
Yeah, these old bones. When I was walking around outside, I'm like, I had to get this out of the car. It's
it's a nice look. I like it.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Hey, well, if this is too cool for you and you don't like to be festive and you like to be kind of a Scrooge or a Grinch and you like it really hot on Christmas, this is the temperature outlook for December 18th through December 24th. Of course, that is Christmas Eve. There's a lot of red on this map. That means that there's high confidence that we're going to see above normal temperatures across the board and really across a lot of the country. Coming up at 9:30, we're going to have an update on this. It's also Weather Headlines Wednesday. So we're going to take a look at some of the bigger weather stories that are making an impact across the country. There are two big ones. We're going to break those down and talk about how they may impact us as well.
I like how you have themes for every night. Last night was Trivia Tuesday and Weather Headlines Wednesday. That's very cool.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's now that we don't have hurricane season, I normally would do the back half of the show is get real in depth. So we like to just add that little extra flavor, get a little fancy.
We like it.
Yeah.
Thank
Good
you,
stuff. Jonathan Kagis, check him out at 9:30. All right, we have much more coming for you.
Including, this is a strange story, and we're going to let you figure out what happened, but a guy was accused of stealing a car and was caught in the stolen car, but says, it wasn't me, when we come back.
Welcome to News 6 Tonight. We are so thankful that you're joining us here wherever you found us.
Yeah, you know what this tells me? If you have made this your new streaming destination, it tells me you're smart. Also good looking, because you chose to watch the news in a different way. That makes you really smart. Anybody can give you the news from a teleprompter or an old newspaper. We do it in a fresh new way.
That's right. So check us out wherever you like to stream. We have this app for your TV, News 6 Plus. You can find it on Roku and Amazon and whatever your smart TV is cooking. So thank you. We would love to hear your comments down below.
My gosh. Yeah.
And then we'll show them.
Yeah, we will. News 6 Plus. The plus is you.
Ooh.
And our final story on News 6 tonight, a mystery. A gentleman.
Well,
I tried to sell. A gentleman was at a park. He walked his dog, but he left his keys in the cup holder of his BMW. He comes back. The BMW is gone. He calls the cops. The cops are like, "Did you come here with somebody?" And they took it home. I didn't. It turns out they found the car crashed on the road, and the guy who was driving it, they know he was driving it, but he said it wasn't his fault. Roll the body cam, and he tells you why.
I teleported or something.
Where'd you get the car from?
I don't know. It's Calvin.
Beach side?
I don't know. I teleported.
He said he teleported. He teleported. And clearly there's an issue here with this gentleman, but he was going 100 miles an hour. This is in Volusia County. And so when they caught him, the car was crashed. He was banged up, as you see. Look at the
He was
car.
confused. That is a serious crash.
He is lucky
Blood on
that
his
he
face.
lived through that. And so it's just one of those things where you never know what you are going to run into on the road, which is why you have to be careful. Here's this man who stole a car, who says he was teleported inside the car and says he didn't steal it.
Yeah.
Only in Florida. It's a terrible story, but it's a Florida man story.
One thing that could have avoided all of this, the guy left his keys in the cup
Yes.
holder and thought that he closed the cup holder, and so that was going to keep his unlocked car from getting stolen because the cup holder was closed.
So the lesson we learned here is lock your car and take your keys with you.
That's fair.
Thank you for joining us for News 6 tonight.